What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my full card breakdown and predictions for UFC Vegas 56. We have Alexander Volkov going against Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
And we are back after 1 week off. Looking forward to kicking off the summer with 12 straight weeks of UFC. Starting with this card, should be a very fun one. We have 14 fights to look forward to. Hoping all 14 do stay on. But yeah, I think the card's pretty good. Looking forward to it a ton, as always. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. As always, let's keep trying to grow the channel. I have a lot of stuff coming our way. Contender Series coming up this summer as well. And of course, like I said, 12 cards in a row. So a lot going on. I do want to keep the momentum rolling after sweeping May. Had a very good May, 3-0 on the cards in terms of the betting. Almost swept the last card 2 weeks ago if Holly Holm would have got the decision there. But yeah, it's been a great May. Looking to keep it going this summer. Now is a great time, especially with so much UFC coming up, to sign up on DFSbythenumbers.com. The most popular option being that $10 a month betting option, $2.50 per week. With that, you get access to my stats model. First, notice on all bets, I do have 4 bets for this card. I think 5 bets for this card, and then I have 2 for UFC 275 next week already. My betting article, my betting breakdown videos, Hail Mary Parlay, access to Discord. That's also where I send out the bet notifications. And then also, this is the biggest thing here, probably the full card breakdown and best bet article. And with that, I'm breaking down the entire card, anywhere from 10 to 15 pages, and I'll give my prediction, the round, the method. I'll give my confidence rating on a scale of 1 to 10, and then I'll give my best bet for the fight. And at the end of the article, I actually put all my best bets together, and then I do the confidence ratings between all the fighters, from least to highest confidence ratings. So people seem to like that. If you do want to sign up, now is a great time. The link is in the description, or just simply go to DFSbythenumbers.com. A ton of content on there, and yeah, lots of content already out. So other than that, going live Friday on the MMA Engine YouTube channel for my live stream. Typically it was on this channel, but now going live on the MMA Engine channel on Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And then back here on Saturday for Best Bet with me, Uncle Weezy, Narco Cop, and Eric Betts fights. I saw that the fights were like 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time this week, so we'll be going live around 12. So kind of an early start time for this week. And other than that, follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. And I think that is about it. I say we get into it. 14 fights to break down, no time to waste. I say we start with the very first fight of the night. And yeah, a lot of people are upset that this is the first fight of the night. Aaron Blanchfield kicking it off when we have some very questionable fights, honestly, on the main card even. And yeah, this fight should be really good. It is going to be a nice step up in competition for Aaron Blanchfield. I'm curious to see if she can pass this test. And we have the biggest favorite on the card here in Blanchfield. She's 23 years old, 5'4", with a 68-inch reach. She's 8-1 and 5-0 in her last 5 fights. JJ Aldrich, 29 years old, 5'5", with a 67.5-inch reach, 11-4 and 4-1 in her last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds. And like I said, Blanchfield opened up minus 275. She's now minus 600. JJ Aldrich opened up plus 235, and she is plus 400. So, yeah, lots of hype on Aaron Blanchfield, and rightfully so. She came in as an underdog. I want to double check to see what the line was, but against Miranda Maverick, she was actually an underdog. So she closed at plus 130 against Miranda Maverick, and she went out there against Miranda Maverick, and she looked like minus 1,000. Like, it was insane. Like, Miranda Maverick is a very good fighter in her own right. She's young as well, and people are very high on Maverick, and just seeing Aaron Blanchfield go out there and just completely dominate her, take her down 7 times, almost finish her a couple times as well. I mean, all the hype is on Aaron Blanchfield for sure, and she's only like 22 or 23 years old. It's nuts. So I think the sky's the limit for Blanchfield, and I think she passes this test with JJ Aldrich. So Aldrich, there's not a lot of footage out there in terms of her stuffing takedowns, which that is something she's going to want to do. And, on paper, she does have a very good takedown defense of 72%. In her debut, she did struggle with the takedown. She did get taken down 4 times, but that was back in 2016. But yeah, since then, Poliana got her down once. Jillian Robertson got her down once. Laura Mueller got her down once, but nobody's really, consistently taking her down. She did a really good job against Jillian Robertson in terms of stuffing the takedowns, keeping it on the feet, and even getting, Robertson down at some point and, staying safe on top. But this is definitely a different different type of animal here with Aaron Blanchfield. I think Blanchfield is, I don't know. I don't think, minus 600 is really warranted here. JJ Aldrich is getting priced as if she's some bum, and she's not a bum. But I do think Blanchfield is going to get the fight down to the mat when she wants, and I think she's going to do what she wants. Takedowns will be there. Top control will be there. She's relentless, and I think she'll grind out a decision here. On the feet, you probably do got to favor JJ Aldrich. Blanchfield striking is definitely a work in progress. It's just, Blanchfield's not going to go out there and strike with JJ Aldrich for 15 minutes. She's going to take her down, and she will take her down. I think she will win this fight by decision. So, yeah, I like Blanchfield here. Do I like the minus 600? No, I don't, but I do think she is one of the safer picks as far as picking a win on this card. So, give me Blanchfield by a pretty dominant decision. Next, moving on. We have a couple newcomers on this card, and this is going to be the first of the newcomers. We have Andreas Michailidis going against Rinat Fakhretdinov. We have Fakhretdinov, who is 30 years old, 6 foot. Not sure on the reach there, but he is 20-2 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Andreas Michailidis, he is 33 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach, 13-5 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds. We have another big favorite here in Fakhretdinov. Fakhretdinov opened up minus 300, he's currently minus 260, and then Andreas Michailidis opened up plus 250, and he's currently plus 220. So, yeah, there's not a ton of footage out there on Fakhretdinov, which is interesting because the guy has like 22 fights, but from what I've seen, he went out there and knocked out Eric Spicely in the first round, like in the first minute, and then other fights, he's able to get his opponents down. His cardio looks pretty solid. His ground game looks really good. Good ground and pound, has some submissions as well. Looks like a pretty solid fighter. I just would like to see a little bit more of Fakhretdinov, and it's weird. Like 22 fights, you'd think there'd be more footage of this guy out there, but there's not really as much as I'd like to see. So I think this is going to be a good test to kind of see where he's at getting, kind of a UFC caliber opponent in Michailidis here. But, Michailidis, the guy, I think he's extremely talented. I think he's really well-rounded, really solid striker. He's a black belt in BJJ. He went out there and took off the first round against Silva Pereira in his last fight, and just showed in that second round that the guy just does not have a gas tank whatsoever. This guy's gas tank is really, really bad. He looked good. And he came out there with like the game plan you'd expect against Alex Pereira. He went out there, grinded him out for the first round, and the second round came around. The dude looked like he could barely stand. Like he was so tired, and that's kind of his problem. He gets very, very tired. So he's kind of like a round one or bust type of guy. So I can't pick him to win this fight, but do I want to lay minus 260 on Fakhretdinov? Absolutely not. But I do know Fakhretdinov is going to get the fight down to the mat. He's going to make Michailidis work. He's going to get on top, and I think Michailidis is simply just going to slow down as the fight goes on. I think Michailidis can absolutely have success early, and maybe he can take off the first round. It's just this guy's gas tank is probably like one of the worst gas tanks I've seen in the UFC. This guy gets so tired. So I like Fakhretdinov. Not going to be touching this fight from a betting perspective, but I do want to see how this guy performs, and I'm actually going to say he gets a late finish here. I'm going to say Michailidis slows down to the point where Fakhretdinov is able to either get a late submission, ground and pound victory, third round. Give me Fakhretdinov for a third round finish, kind of fading the cardio there of Michailidis. Moving on, we have Jeff Molina going against Zhalgas Zhumagulov. It should be a very fun fight here. Looking forward to the return of Jeff Molina. Seems like everybody's a really big fan of the guy, and rightfully so. Great personality, and then just a fun fighter to watch as well. So we have Molina. He's 24 years old, very young, 5'6" with a 69-inch reach, 10-2 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Zhalgas Zhumagulov, he is 33 years old, 5'4" with a 66-inch reach, 14-6 and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds here, and as expected, Molina is going to be a favorite. I think he's getting a little bit of this hype tax. He opened up minus 200. He's currently minus 180. Zhalgas Zhumagulov opened up plus 170. He's currently plus 155. So yeah, I like Molina to win here. I like what he brings to the table. This guy's very well-rounded. He's young. He's training at a very good gym. On top of that, this guy throws a ton of strikes per minute. As of now, through a 2-fight sample, he's landing 8.72 significant strikes per minute. So he's throwing a ton of volume. And actually, that is a 3-fight sample because on the Contender Series as well. So 3-fight sample, the guy's landing over 8 significant strikes per minute. The takedown defense is not really the best on paper, 37%, but he does a really good job at getting back up. He's a very good grappler, just very well-rounded as a whole. Zhalgas Zhumagulov, he's a really good fighter. And I don't want to completely count out Zalga Sumagulov. He did get finished by Manel Kape. Really no shame in that. He lost against Amir Albazi in a competitive fight. And then he lost to Rolian Paiva in a fight I thought he clearly won. But yeah, he's a good fighter, has good wins outside the UFC as well. But I just feel like Molina is going to have him covered pretty much everywhere. I feel like on the feet, he's going to be able to cleanly outstrike Zalga Sumagulov. I think he's going to use his volume, his cardio as a weapon here. And then I guess if Zalgas is going to have success, I think he's going to try to take down Molina. But Zalgas has not had success in terms of doing that yet in the UFC. Only a 21% takedown accuracy, averaging a little bit over one takedown. Even if he does get down, Jeff Molina, is he going to be able to hold him down? Is he going to be able to control him? I kind of lean towards no. So I think this primarily does play out on the feet. And at that point, I do like the volume of Jeff Molina. But like I said, I don't want to completely write off Zalga Sumagulov because he's a very good fighter. But I feel like Molina has what it takes to win this by decision here. So give me Molina by decision. I think the volume is going to be key in this fight here. All right, next we have a very interesting matchup stylistically. We have Tony Gravely going against Johnny Munoz. So we have Gravely, who is 30 years old, 5'5" with a 69-inch reach, 22-7 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Johnny Munoz, he is 29 years old, 5'9" with a 71-inch reach, 11-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds, and Tony Gravely opened up -150. He is currently -125, and then Johnny Munoz opened up +130, and he's currently +105. So yeah, stylistically, this is a very tricky one because we have a really good wrestler in Tony Gravely, probably one of the best wrestlers in the division. This guy's relentless. He's averaging over 6.76 takedowns per 15 minutes, which is it's unheard of, with a 55% takedown accuracy. So his wrestling's top notch. It's just, this is a fight where, he's going to get the fight down to the mat, but that's where Johnny Munoz Jr. wants to fight. He wants it on the mat. Johnny Munoz, a black belt in BJJ, a very good grappler, and I think he'll have no problem, with Gravely trying to take him down. So Gravely he's going to take him down, but he's going to need to stay safe on top, and he's going to need to do that for 15 minutes. And I don't know, I feel like Munoz is going to get a lot of opportunities here. Tony Gravely, his kind of detriment in his career has just been honestly getting submitted. He's been submitted 5 times, and he's getting submitted by a lot of good guys. Brett Johns submitted him, Patchy Mix submitted him, Bermudez submitted him. But I just feel like Munoz, he's going to get opportunities, and I also feel like, maybe Munoz can take down Tony Gravely. Gravely's takedown defense has not looked great thus far in the UFC. Why can't, Johnny Munoz get takedowns and get on top as well? And if that happens, I think he can have a ton of success. And then on top of that, if Gravely is wrestling, is working for those takedowns, Gravely does slow down as the fight goes on. I just feel like throughout 15 minutes, Munoz is going to get a ton of opportunities to find that submission. I get why Gravely's the favorite. He has fought the better competition. He is more experienced. He is probably going to be the minute winner here. He will probably be the one getting takedowns and getting on top. But like I said, that's exactly where Munoz wants to fight. And I was talking on the show on Sunday with Uncle Weezy Stat Diggers on Pub Sports Radio. It kind of feels like Bartosz Fabinski, Gerald Meerschaert. What does Bartosz Fabinski want to do? He wants to get the fight down to the mat. Where does Gerald Meerschaert want it? He wants to fight on the mat. Bartosz had been submitted 3 or 4 times at that point. He goes and takes down Gerald Meerschaert, submitted instantly. I feel like it kind of feels like that. It feels like Gravely's going to be able to get the fight down to the mat. I just feel like Munoz is going to potentially submit him at some point. So I'm going to take the dog here in Johnny Munoz Jr. I'm going to be looking for that sub prop as well. Again, I get why Gravely's the favorite. He should be the minute winner, but I think Munoz is going to get his opportunities there. So, and on top of that, Munoz is the bigger fighter. 4-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach advantage. I like that. How is Gravely's cardio going to look in that 3rd round? I like Munoz here as a dog. So give me Munoz to win. I'm going to take Munoz to win by, I'll say a 3rd round submission, but I think the sub is live in pretty much every round. So give me Munoz to win. Give me Munoz to win by sub. I think he gives Gravely his 6th submission loss. All right. Next, we have Benoit Saint-Denis going against Niklas Stolze. We have Saint-Denis, who is 26 years old, 5'11", with a 73-inch reach, 8-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Niklas Stolze, he is 29 years old, 6'1", with a 75-inch reach, 12-5 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds, and Benoit Saint-Denis opened up, my goodness, minus 275. He's currently minus 145. And then Niklas Stolze opened up plus 235, and he's currently plus 125. So Yes, Benoit Saint-Denis, we all saw it in his last fight. One of the worst beatings of 2021. It was probably the worst beating of 2021. It was the ref with, I believe it was Kisayev. The fight should have been stopped multiple times. I lost my fight doesn't go to decision bet. We'll never forget that fight. But yeah, honestly, like, I don't get why Saint-Denis is the favorite. Like, I'm trying to figure out what he's good at. And obviously, he's a good grappler. He's a very good grappler. I believe he just started like MMA back in 2019, so he's fairly young in the sport. And you go and watch his fights like outside the UFC, and you can see it. Like, this guy's very, very green. He's getting reversed a ton by lower level guys outside the UFC. His striking is obviously not there. I'm just not quite sold on Benoit Saint-Denis, and I feel like he's a favorite just for showing a lot of toughness in his last fight, and he did. And people really like these tough guys, but you need more than toughness to win fights. And I don't know, I'm just not sold on Benoit Saint-Denis. Yes, he's a solid grappler, but he's making way too many mistakes on the mat for my liking. And Stoltz is not like some bum on the mat. Stoltz is a brown belt in his own right, multiple submissions on his record, and then Stoltz is going to be clearly the better striker in this matchup, the more experienced guy by a mile. The line just does not make much sense to me. So yeah, I actually kind of like Stoltz in this matchup. I'm not sure I'm going to bet him. Stoltze's not looked overly great in the UFC. That's probably why he's a dog here. He got knocked out in the first round by Jared Gooden, and then he lost a decision against Ramazan Emeev. But you go back and watch the Emeev fight, he's actually, doing a lot of great things. At the end of the first round, he hurts Emeev very bad with a knee. If that fight, had, a little bit more time left, he could have potentially finished Emeev in that fight. And then in the second round was very, very close. Could have really went either way. And then in the third round, Emeev's able to take him down. But that's kind of what Emeev does. And I guess Benoit Saint-Denis can come in here and do that. But like I said, this guy is, submission over position. He's making way too many mistakes. I don't know if that's going to slide at the UFC level. So I'm going to take Stoltze to win by decision here. I think he's going to outstrike Saint-Denis. But this is a very, very close fight. So give me Stoltze for the upset here. Not a ton of confidence on this fight. Kind of one I want to stay away from, but I'll take Stoltze for the upset. All right, next we have Ode Osbourne going against Zarrukh Adashev. We have Ode Osbourne, who is 5'7", 30 years old with a 72-inch reach, 10-4, and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Zarrukh Adashev, 29 years old, 5'5", with a 65-inch reach, 4-3, and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds, and Ode Osbourne is a favorite. Opened up minus 280. For some reason, currently minus 173, and then Zarrukh Adashev opened up plus 240. He is currently plus 148. I guess what sticks off the page right away, a couple things, honestly, like it's going to be the height and reach for Ode Osbourne. So Osbourne's going to have a 2-inch height advantage, and I feel like it's probably more than that. Like, you take a look at Zarrukh, like, he's very, very short. So I feel like, sometimes they lie about their heights. Like, we saw Amanda Hebos, Caitlin Chukagian, like, on paper, Chukagian was supposed to be like 6 inches taller. There's like a 2-inch height difference. I feel like this is the opposite. Like, I feel like Ode is probably going to be towering over Zarrukh Adashev, and then you take a look at the reach, and then he's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage over Zarrukh Adashev. So, tail the tape massively in favor of Ode Osbourne here. So, yeah, I feel like Ode can make this very easy. You go and watch a lot of fights of Ode Osbourne, especially outside the UFC. His ground game is very good, especially off his back. Very slick off his back. Multiple submissions. This guy's dangerous. And Zarrukh is a kickboxer. That's what he is. That's his background. And he has a loss by submission. I feel like Ode, why not take down Zarrukh Adashev? And why not submit this guy? Like, I feel like Ode is going to have such a massive advantage on the mat here. And even on the feet, like, Zarrukh is a very good striker, very good leg kicks. It's just he's small. He's small for the flyweight division, and Ode is going to be much, much bigger. Ode is huge for the flyweight division. So I feel like, Zarrukh is a very good striker, but, man, the size could definitely be a factor here. So, yeah, I like Ode. It's just if I was laying minus 180 on Ode, I would really like him to grapple, because I feel like if he grapples here, it's going to look so easy. But it's not really something he does. He doesn't go for as many takedowns as he'd like to see. First of all, he knocked out Jerome Rivera in 60 seconds. Showed he definitely has some power. He did take down CJ Vergara once in that fight. He did go for 7 takedowns. I like that. I'd like to see that here. I'd like him to go for 7 takedowns. If he does that, I feel like he can really submit this guy. So I just feel like Odi has more paths to victory here. I feel like on the feet, it's going to be competitive, but 7 inches of reach is a lot. And then I feel like he's very powerful. He's going to have the power advantage. I feel like he can knock out Zarrukh. And then especially, like, if he gets the fight down to the mat, I see the sub happening. So I'm going to say he does get the fight down to the mat. I'm going to say he does submit Zarrukh Adashev. And I'm going to say he does it in the very first round there. But it should be a fun fight. All right, next we have another very fun fight. We have another newcomer here making his short notice debut. We have Damon Jackson going against Daniel Argueta. We have Damon Jackson, who is 33 years old, 5'11", they 73-inch reach, 24-1, and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Daniel Argueta, he is 28 years old, 5'7", they 70-inch reach, 8-0, and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. So Damon Jackson looks to be the second biggest favorite on the card. And if I had to take a guess, by the time the card does start, I feel like he will move to the first biggest favorite ahead of Blanchfield, honestly. So Jackson opened up -200. He's now -500. And then Daniel Argueta opened up +170, and he's currently +375. So the thing is, I go and watch Argueta. Like, Argueta's a very good fighter. He really is. I think he has some solid upside. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. He lost to Ricky Tercios. He's a good fighter. And, I've seen him go 5 rounds before. Solid takedowns, very good wrestler. Kind of one-dimensional, but yeah, I mean, he's a really good fighter. But this is such a tough ask coming in here on short notice, up a weight class. I think that's huge against Damon Jackson, who, honestly, I think Damon Jackson has him covered everywhere. I don't think Argueta, from what I've seen, does not have the best striking. He's a wrestler. That's what he is. I think Damon Jackson's going to be the better striker. Although Damon Jackson's not really the best striker, I think he's going to have the striking advantage. I think Damon Jackson's going to most definitely have the grappling advantage. I think he's going to have the wrestling advantage, the cardio advantage, the experience advantage. I think he's going to have pretty much every single advantage here in this fight. Like, outside of like an early knockout, I just don't see Argueta going out there and being able to take down Jackson and doing it consistently for 3 rounds. And I feel like it's either like an early knockout, which, Jackson has been knocked out early before, but it's by Ilia Topuria, and it's another one was like a flying knee. And I just don't think Argueta has the best striking. I don't see Argueta submitting Jackson. I don't see Argueta taking him down and getting him out of the ground and pound. And then I just don't see him controlling Jackson for 3 rounds. So just a tough ask for Daniel Argueta. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's absolutely UFC caliber, but up a weight class, short notice against Damon Jackson just does not seem like the easiest thing in the world. So I like Damon Jackson here quite a bit, and I like him to win by a late finish. I think he kind of breaks Argueta. I think he's going to make him work short notice. I don't like that for him, and I think Damon Jackson does submit Daniel Argueta in the 3rd round there. But yeah, it should be a very fun fight. Looking forward to the debut of Argueta, but mostly looking forward to going back down to his normal weight class, his next fight out. But yeah, Damon Jackson, 3rd round submission there. All right, looks like one more fight on the prelims here. We have Joe Solecki going against Alex De Silva. And we have Joe Solecki, who is 28 years old, 5'9" with a 70.5-inch reach, 11-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Alex De Silva, 26 years old, 5'8" with a 73-inch reach, 21-3 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Let's take a look at the odds here. And so Joe Solecki opens up -240. My goodness, I don't know what's up with these openers, honestly. And then he's currently -170. And then De Silva opened up +205. He's currently +145. We have not seen De Silva in a long time. The last time we saw De Silva was 1 year and 8 months ago. And I'm not sure why we haven't seen him in a while, whether it was injuries. I think he did pull out a 1 fight. But that 1 year and 8 months off is huge for a guy that last time he fought, he was 24 years old. And it's pretty crazy to see a guy that is 26 with 24 fights on his record as well. So he's already very experienced. He's taken a year and 8 months off to hopefully improve. And if he does come back and here with some improvements, I feel like this is such a winnable fight for him. Like, on the feet against Brad Riddell, he was very competitive on the feet. Like, he won the 1st round against Brad Riddell. He's able to take him down. He's able to control Brad Riddell. His fight prior to that against Kazula Vargas was able to control him in that fight. And he went out there and controlled Vargas for, it was like 12 or 13 minutes of a 15-minute fight. Just so it showed some really good stuff. And this was, at the time, like 23 years old. I think De Silva has a lot of upside. I really do. But the one problem with De Silva, and this is why I can't be too confident in this underdog pick, is going to be the cardio. We saw him slow down in, the Yakovlev fight. He slowed down a little bit in that second round, got caught in a submission. We saw him slow down a ton in the Riddell fight. Like, I remember having, I think I had a bet on Riddell a couple years ago, and I thought I was going to lose the bet because, he was looking really good early on. It's just as the fight went on, De Silva did slow down, and if De Silva had cardio or if he improved his cardio, I feel like this is such a winnable fight because on the feet it's going to be De Silva, and it's going to be De Silva all day. I don't think it's really even close on the feet. On the mat, the better grappler is most definitely Joe Solecki. Joe Solecki, legit black belt in BJJ. But yeah, De Silva has good grappling in his own right, good offensive wrestling, defensive wrestling. But the cardio is the one thing. Like, if he had cardio, it'd be such an easy pick. But I just kind of, I don't know, I feel like De Silva is going to win that first round. If you like Solecki, a live betting, look at this fight would probably be the best look. Like, I think De Silva is going to win that first round. It's just what happens in that second and that third round is kind of what scares me. But I will take De Silva. I'm hoping and banking on him, hoping to make improvements here in terms of the cardio. Because if he comes in here with an improved gas tank, like, this is a very winnable fight. And he's a decent-sized dog as well. So I'm going to take De Silva to win at least those first 2 rounds. But as the fight goes on, like, the gas tank is kind of what sketches me out. But yeah, I like De Silva here. Better striker. I think, he's well-rounded, good grappler, good wrestling. And, I'm not like overly sold on Joe Solecki, especially after his last performance against Gordon. Just did not show a lot of great things, especially like off his back. Like, I feel like De Silva can even get takedowns there. Solecki showed really no willingness to get back up. And even like in the Jim Miller fight, he was kind of stuck on his back for a little bit as well. So I feel like De Silva has multiple paths to victory, but yeah, the gas tank is what scares me. But yeah, I'll take De Silva to win. I'll take him to win by a very competitive decision. Completely disagree with the line. I feel like it should be much, much closer. All right, we have the main card opener. Can't believe it. I can't believe this is a fight. I saw this on Twitter the other day, and I thought it was a joke. I didn't think this was a fight. I completely forgot about Felice Herrig on a 3-fight losing streak, and Karolina, I could have swore she retired. But no, this fight's actually happening, and we're actually going to break it down, and it's actually on the main card. I can't believe it. But yeah, this is a mess. We have Felice Herrig, 37 years old, 5'4", with a 65-inch reach, 14-9, and 2-3 in her last 5 fights. Karolina Kovakevich, she is 36 years old, 5'3", with a 64-inch reach, 12-7. And 0-5 in her last 5 fights. So the last fight that Karolina won was back in 2018. It was against Felice Herrig, believe it or not. We take a look at the odds, and we see that I feel like nobody should be favored in this fight. Looks like Felice Herrig is the favorite. Open up plus 100, currently minus 120. Karolina open up minus 120, and she's currently plus 100. Like, there is so many, like, red flag after red flag after question mark after question mark. Like, this is like nearly, this is an unbettable fight. You have Felice Herrig, who is 37 years old, and we're talking strawweight. We're talking strawweight here. So 37 years old, 37 and a half. She's turning 38, like, in September. So there's that. She's coming off of like 2 major surgeries. She's on a 3-fight losing streak. Like, the last time she won was literally 4 years and 5 months ago, a split decision against Courtney Casey. So we have that. And then on the other side, we have Karolina Kovakevich, who is 36 and a half years old at strawweight. She is on a 5-fight losing streak. She's not won in like 5 years. This is a complete mess here. As far as like picking a winner, like, I feel like Karolina should win, but I honestly question her mindset. Like, 5-fight losing streak, losing to Jessica Andrade, Michelle Waterson, Alexa Grasso, Yan Janan. No shame in those 4 losses, but I don't know. It looked like she fought terrible against Jessica Penne. She looked okay early on, I guess, for a second, and then she took down Jessica Penne, got submitted, showed bad fight IQ in that fight. I don't know. I feel like it kind of should play out like their first fight that happened back in 2018 with Karolina stuffing the takedowns. Karolina typically has that good takedown defense. Karolina should be the better striker with more volume, but We're talking about a Karolina that's on a 5-fight losing streak, where I literally question if she even wants to be here. And then we have Felice Herrig, who is coming off of multiple injuries, big layoff. Give me Karolina to win. I'll say she stuffed the takedowns and outstrikes Felice Herrig. I'll say it does play out like their first fight. Don't really see it going any differently. I guess maybe Herrig could get her down more often, but Karolina did do a really good job at being able to keep it on the feet and outstrike Herrig. It's going to be close. It's going to be a very close fight, but I'll take Karolina Kovakevich. I'll take her to win by a very greasy decision. I can't believe this is on the main card. But we'll move on. We have a fight where I'm like, okay, I can't believe this is on the main card, but at the same time, I know why they're doing this. Like, this fight's going to be an absolute banger for as long as it lasts. I actually can't wait for this fight. This is probably one of my favorite fights on the card, believe it or not. We have Alonzo Menifield going against Askar Mozharov. We have Menifield, who is 34 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach, 11-3 and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Askar, he is 27 years old, 6'3", 25-7 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. So we take a look at the odds, and Menifield is the favorite. Opened up minus 130, he's now minus 151. Askar opened up plus 110, he's now plus 131. And I don't usually talk about this, but the fight doesn't go to decision is minus 600 on BetOnline, and it's already minus 700 on Betway, minus 700 on Bet365, which is telling you that this fight absolutely should be very violent. Askar is a guy that is kill or be killed. 7 losses, all 7 of them are coming inside the distance. I think like almost half by knockout, 3 or 4 by knockout, 3 or 4 by submission. And you go and watch tape on this guy. There's actually a good amount of tape out there on him in terms of like amount of fights. But you can watch all the tape on this guy in about 5 minutes. He goes in there and he knocks out these super low level guys. And when he meets any resistance at all, he kind of quits in there. So you can see why he has 7 losses. I saw him get taken down in a fight, and the dude lands like 1 elbow on him, and he's tapping to strikes. So I don't know. I feel like when the going gets tough, and this is one of those guys, kind of like we talked about a couple months ago, like a Charlie Ontiveros, a guy that's kill or be killed, a guy that whenever it gets tough, he wants out. I feel like kind of get the same vibe here with Morozov. When it gets tough, he's gonna want out. This is a big step up in competition for Askar. You know, going and fighting like these very low-level guys, like to an actual fighter like Alonzo Menifield. I feel like Menifield is going to absolutely put up some resistance, and I feel like Menifield, if he's smart, and I think he is, he's at a good gym, Fortis MMA. I feel like if he comes in with a good game plan, like just take him down, take down Askar, land some ground and pound, make him quit. I feel like it's a really winnable fight for Menifield, but you know, if Menifield does go out there and strike with Askar for even like 60 seconds, that's going to give Askar an opportunity to get the knockout. He is offensively very dangerous, but yeah, it's got to be Menifield for me. Menifield, he's fought the much better competition. It's not even close. He's been in the UFC longer. He has more ways to win. I think he can absolutely take down Askar. I think he can submit him. I think he can knock him out. I think he can make him tap the strikes. I like Menifield here by first round TKO or sub. I think he gets him out there very early. But yeah, this fight's going to be pretty awesome for as long as it lasts. But yeah, Menifield, I'll say first round knockout. All right, we have another newcomer here. Looks like we have 3 newcomers in a row on this main card, and this is the second of them. We have Karina Silva going against Poliana Botelho. We have Botelho, who is 33 years old, 5'8" with a 67-inch reach, 8-4 and 2-3 in her last 5 fights. Karina Silva, 28 years old, 5'8" with a 67-inch reach, 14-4 and 5-0 in her last 5 fights. Take a look at the odds, and yeah, these odds honestly kind of surprised me. I was expecting Botelho to be the favorite just due to the experience, and you know, Karina Silva did not look amazing in her Contender Series fight, but no, it's actually Silva that's the slight favorite. Opened up minus 190, she's currently minus 116. Botelho opened up plus 165. She's currently minus 104. So, yeah, Silva is a very dangerous fighter. Her nickname is the Killer, and for a very good reason. She has a 100% finish rate, which you do not typically ever really see that in women's flyweight. 100% finish rate out of 14 wins. Like, she's very dangerous. Has some knockouts, especially earlier in her career, but you know, a lot of times it's going to be by submission. You go and watch a lot of her fights, same kind of like last fighter when Morozov. a lot of these fights are ending very early. They're ending with like heel hooks, submissions, like guillotines, arm bars from guard especially. Like she can, lots of different submissions on the mat. Like she's very dangerous there. And I feel like, Botelho, she's going to have the striking advantage clearly, but I went and watched a lot of fights of Botelho. 2 in particular did stand out in terms of this matchup, and it's going to be the Cynthia Calvillo fight, where Calvillo did get down Botelho twice in the first round, and she was able to easily submit Botelho. No hooks in, rear naked choke. That was not a great look to me. And then also, what was probably an even worse look was the Jillian Robertson fight, where Jillian Robertson, her wrestling's not great, but she was able to take down Botelho actually 3 times, and she controlled her for 9 minutes and 34 seconds in that fight. She wasn't able to finish Botelho, but she was able to get into mount multiple times. It looks like the judges gave a couple 10-8s to Jillian Robertson as well. She was able to get into mount. She was able to take her back at some point, and when she was able to get into these dominant positions, the round was nearly over at times, and she wasn't able to finish Botelho. But I feel like if Karina Silva gets into these same dominant positions, I feel like she finishes Botelho here. So yeah, Botelho, she's the better striker, but if Karina Silva does get on the mat and get on top of Botelho, I feel like she's going to be in big trouble. So yeah, I like Silva here. Yeah, I was expecting her to be the dog, but I guess she's the favorite. But yeah, I think she kind of run-throughs Botelho here. I think she takes her down, gets on top, whether it's ground and pound, submission. I think she finishes Botelho in the very first round. I will say if this does get extended into the second, into the third especially, I feel like Botelho is live for a late finish. We saw Silva slow down a ton in her Contender Series fight, but she was still able to get that second round submission. But yeah, you take a look at her wins, like most of them do come in that first round. So I'm going to say she does finish Botelho in the first round, but if it does get out of the first, I think it's going to be Botelho winning it. But yeah, if Silva, first round, I'll say first round submission. I think she gets her out of there very early. All right, next we have Mike Trizano going against another newcomer. We have Lucas Almeida. With Trizano, 30 years old, 5'11", with a 71-inch reach, 9-2. And 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Lucas Almeida, 31 years old, 5'11", with a 71-inch reach, 13-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds, and Trizano, a decent-sized favorite, which kind of surprises me. He's minus 230, open at minus 180, and then Almeida opened up plus 155, and he's currently plus 195. The reason that surprises me is Trizano's always in these very, very, very close fights. Like he was in a Hakeem Dawadu, beat him all day there, but against Ludovic Klein, it was a unanimous decision, but that was a very close fight. I actually did score it for Klein. Against Luis Pena, split decision, and then against Joe Giannetti, it was a split decision as well on the Ultimate Fighter finale there. But yeah, he's always seemed to be in these very, very close and competitive fights, and I went and watched Lucas Almeida, and I don't know, I feel like he came in there with like a really terrible game plan on the Contender Series, and to be fair, in that first round against, don't know how to pronounce his last name, like Zellhuber, Daniel Zellhuber, which he's a really good fighter in his own right, but he landed a ton of really hard shots on Zellhuber in the first round that I think would have put out a lot of other fighters, but yeah, he went out there, he just looked like he was trying to take off his head for the whole first round, and then as we know, like the fight went on and he did slow down, and I feel like if he does that here with Trizano, like that's going to be another bad game plan here. But yeah, he does seem to have a lot of power. He's very dangerous, a 100% finish rate, knockouts and submissions, but I feel like Trizano should weather the early storm here and get it done. Trizano, I'll double check, but I don't believe he's ever been knocked out. I think his only finished loss is by sub. Yeah, his only finished loss is by submission. Trizano does have very good takedown defense, a very good get-up game, very good cardio. I think he's the more experienced fighter. I think he's fought the better competition, more experience in the UFC, but he's fought the better competition, and I feel like he should win this fight. But yeah, minus 230 just makes no sense. Minus 230, like Almeida, he's well-rounded, he's solid. It's just, I don't know. I feel like Trizano should be able to weather the early storm, take over as the fight goes on. I really do like the striking of Trizano, but yeah, I just feel like it's going to be a lot closer than the line does indicate. So I'll take Trizano to win. Yeah, not too confident in it, and I feel like the line should be closer, but give me the experience of Trizano here, and I feel like he does win this fight. I feel like the first round could be a little iffy, but Trizano should take 2 and 3. So Trizano by decision. He's not finishing anybody, only a 44% finish rate. But I do like Trizano to get it done here and by decision. All right, co-main event, we have Dan Ige going against Movsar Evloev. We have Evloev, who's 28 years old, 5'7", with a 72.5-inch reach, 15-0, obviously 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Dan Ige, 30 years old, 5'7", with a 71-inch reach, 15-5, and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds, and Evloev is the third biggest favorite on the card. We have a lot of big favorites this card. He's the third one. Open at minus 200. He's currently minus 425. Dan Ige open at plus 170. He's currently plus 325. Kind of crazy, right? Seeing a guy the caliber of Dan Ige this big of an underdog, but I think the writing's kind of on the wall here in terms of the game plan of Evloev. We all know what he's going to come in here and do. He's going to go in here and go for takedowns. He's going to go in here and get the takedowns, and we did see Dan Ige really struggle in terms of stuffing the takedown against the Korean Zombie. The Korean Zombie was able to go in there and take down Dan Ige almost in every single round, and then when he was able to get on top of Ige, Ige really had nothing off his back, wasn't able to get up, and it's not extremely concerning that Korean Zombie did that. Korean Zombie, a very underrated grappler, I believe he's a black belt as well. It's just, I guess we just don't ever see the Korean Zombie doing that, so it kind of surprised me. I don't think we've ever seen the Korean Zombie, maybe against Poirier back in 2012. I think that was the only time we saw Korean Zombie go in there and just go for multiple takedowns. But yeah, he did it against Ige and he had some success. So I feel like that's what Evloev does. He's going to go in there, he's going to get takedowns, he's not going to take too many chances. And I think Ige's a very good striker, but Evloev's just not going to give him many opportunities. I think Ige's a very good grappler. I believe Ige's a black belt in BJJ in his own right, but I feel like Ige can take him down, stay safe on top, rinse and repeat, grind him out for 15 minutes here. So, yeah, I do like Ige, big fan of the guy, but just think it's a pretty bad matchup for him. And I think Evloev goes to 16-0, takes another step up, and we'll go from there. But, yeah, I think he does pass this test, and it's going to be a step up because, going from Sungwoo Choi, Enrique Barzola, Mike Grundy, Nick Lentz, Hakeem Dawodu, it's a step up in competition, but it's just a step up. I feel he passes, and he passes it with flying colors. So I like Evloev to win. I like him to win by decision. Don't really even see Ige winning a round. I think if Ige wins, it's probably some type of knockout or maybe a submission, but I just don't even think that's likely. So I like Evloev here quite a bit. Big price tag, but can't really make too many arguments for Dan Ige here. So Evloev for the win, Evloev by decision. And then we have the main event. We have Volkov Rosenstroke. I do want to remind you guys, me and Weezy went live on the MMA Engine YouTube channel doing a main event deep dive. Went deep into this, talked about it from a betting perspective as well, and gave our best bets on that fight. So check that out on the MMA Engine. But we have Volkov Rosenstroke. Yeah, I think this card's great. Just not in love with the main event. I like both guys. I just feel like, I feel like it's not the most exciting main event in the world, but can't complain too much. I'm just glad we have some fights back this week. We have Volkov Rosenstroke. Volkov, 33 years old, 6'7", and 80-inch reach, 34-10, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Rozenstruik, 34 years old, 6'2" with a 78-inch reach, 12-3, and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So right off the bat, I feel like they're lying again about their heights. Rozenstruik, there's no way this guy is 6'2". I forget who he was fighting, but who was he fighting? Was he fighting, I want to say Curtis Blades, or Ngannou, or maybe it was both, but you could see that Curtis Blades and Ngannou were just towering over this guy. And I want to say Blades is 6'2", 6'3", Ngannou's 6'2", 6'3", and they were just towering over Jairzinho Rozenstruik. So yes, it says he's 6'2", but my goodness, the guy's 5'8". Let's see, Curtis Blades is 6'4", and then Ngannou is either 6'3" or 6'4". Ngannou is 6'4", and then what is Cyril Gane? Cyril Gane is 6'4" as well. So they're all 6'4". Rozenstruik's 6'2", but they were towering over. Looked like a 4 or 5 inch height difference. So I think Volkov is going to have more than the 5. I think he's going to have more than a 5-inch height advantage, but he is going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. Volkov, he is a favorite here and opened up minus 160, minus 155 currently. Rozenstruik plus 140 is currently plus 135. And it makes sense. I feel like, Volkov is going to be the clear minute winner here. Rozenstruik, he's not a minute winner. All of his wins come by knockout outside of one. Very low volume. They call him Rozenstruik at times, and I know we talked about that kind of, upsetting him, and he came in there, I think it was against the Sakai fight, with a little bit more urgency, and I'd like to see that more out of Rozenstruik, but yeah, at times he's very low volume, landing 2.8 significant strikes per minute, but with that said, when he does land, he lands very hard, he has a ton of power. I remember when he knocked out Alan Crowder with a jab, like this dude hits like a truck. So yeah, he's not landing a lot, but when he does land, it's hard. 45% striking defense for Rozenstruik. He is absorbing more than he's giving out, which I never like to see. I will say he's, throughout his career, has improved his takedown defense so much. I remember in his debut against Junior Albini was able to take him down, get him to mount. So I felt like people would be able to do that going forward against Rozenstruik, but no, not really. Overeem got him down a couple times, Cyril Gane a couple times, Blades a couple times, but they weren't really able to do much with it. So I do like that. But as far as the striking exchanges go, it's going to be Volkov all day. Volkov's going to have more volume. He's going to be longer. He's going to be bigger. But this is a heavyweight fight. We know how that goes. Although Volkov could be winning every single second of the fight, it only takes one shot for Rozenstruik to win. But yeah, it should be Volkov here. I will say, Volkov, in his last couple performances, I'm not sure what's going on. Like, against Cyril Gane, he loses the fight. It was competitive. I thought he looked okay. Against Tybura, I had a big bet on Volkov, and he's a big favorite, too. I had a big bet on him, and I was like, what is he doing? Like, this guy is looking tired after the first round, which is weird, because Volkov is a guy that can go 5 no problem, but his mouth was open at the end of the first round. Second round looks very tired. Luckily, he comes alive in the third round a little bit, but just looked off in the Tybura fight, and then Tom Aspinall kind of ran through him. So has not been looking great as of late, but I still feel like he has the tools to go out here and cleanly outstrike Rozenstruik throughout 5 rounds, as long as he does not get knocked out. But yeah, Volkov, good chin, 10 losses, 2 of them come by knockout, and the only knockout loss in the UFC was against Derek Lewis, and that was a fight where he got knocked out in like the last 10 seconds in a fight. He was on his way to winning, so yeah, I feel like Volkov should win. Outside of a Rozenstruik knockout, which it can happen, it's heavyweight, but I do think Volkov is a favorite for a reason. I think he's going to be the clear minute winner here. But yeah, if you like Rozenstruik by knockout, plus 200 probably is the way to go. I don't see Rozenstruik really winning it. I'd be shocked if Rozenstruik win a decision. It's just not something he does. He doesn't throw enough volume. So Volkov for the win. Volkov by decision for me. So yeah, that's it. That is it. 14 fights, broke them all down. A lot of spots sticking out. 5 bets thus far for this card. Looking at a couple more, seeing where these lines go. But yeah, should be a fun week. Looking forward to keep the momentum rolling this summer. 12 cards in a row. Lots of work coming our way. But yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Check me out on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. Be sure to check out DFSbythenumbers.com. Everything should be out within the next couple days. Article coming out on Wednesday, all that good stuff. So check me out there. And yeah, guys, glad to be back. Best of luck, and we'll talk to y'all very soon. See you guys.